Yo, Kpaceguy here, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, I want to talk about my year-long, long-term review of the Monolith 7. Now, I've done a lot of year later, 3-year later, 10-year later videos, but I haven't done one yet on the Monoprice Monolith 7. And I want to do one today because this has been an impressive piece of equipment that I've had in my home theater for a little bit over a year now. So it's not gonna be a review necessarily as far as what it does and blah, 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 but how has it been performing for me a year later? Now, this is the model with the XLR inputs and outputs. This is not the first batch that they sent out, but the internals are probably the same otherwise. So this is gonna go for generally all the Monolith 7s or the Monolith amplifiers in general. So first and foremost, this thing has been a staple in my system. This was the reason why I decided to go from an AV receiver to an AV processor, because I wasn't using any of the internal amplification in my AV receiver at all, because my speakers that I had back then and what I have now absolutely needed the juice. And this gives me 200 watts times 7 at 8 ohms. So it gives me more power at a lower impedance. So I have as much power as I'm ever going to really need in my home theater with the speakers that I tend to buy. This thing has really changed how I perceive music and movies and how they're supposed to sound. So let's start off real quick with just its overall performance level, as far as have I had any problems with it failing on me, has it turned off on me randomly, power on, whatever. Have I had any technical issues with the Monolith? The answer is absolutely not. I've cranked this bad boy, I've listened to it moderately, I've had it on all day. It's never overheated, although I do have a AC Infinity fan on the top, but it's never gotten hot otherwise. Some people asked me when I first bought this, do I have any hissing? Is there a slight buzz whenever I'm watching something or listening to something? Not at all. Although I do have XLR balance outputs from the Monolith or into the Monolith, so that kind of helps. But before I had these in, I had never heard any hissing or whatsoever, even a year and so on later. I've never had anything fail on me. I've never had an RCA input fail. I've never had an output to a speaker not work. I've never had it not power on. I've never had it turn off randomly. It's been an absolute performer for me, and I cannot be more happy with it, to the point where I'm actually thinking of getting the two-channel Monoprice Monolith amp to power my last 2 Atmos speakers. But man, it's been great for me as far as how has it held up over the year and so. So what about its performance? Again, this thing has been a staple. I've had this on 2 different brands, 2 different styles of speakers. If you're familiar with my channel, I used to have the Polk Audio LSIM 707, 706C, 703FX, 702s, whatever. And these have turned my sound upside down. I didn't mean the rhyme there, but I did. It's really changed the way my home theater performs. Using an AV receiver, its power, I lacked a lot of dynamic range. This brought a lot of dynamic range back into my speakers. It almost sounded like I was getting new speakers. It allowed the bass to be a lot more crisp, tighter, and even a little bit louder through my 7 speakers that it powers. And it also allowed me to get clean power at high volumes. So when I have those moments where I really want to crank that song, or I really want to listen to a loud movie, this thing provided the juice when I needed it, when the speakers needed it, so that they perform at their best. And I had no sweat knowing that this was, power my speakers with good clean power, and I was never going to harm my speakers. I was never going to harm my amplifier. So it's been a really good treat to have in the home theater. Now I have the Canton Ventos, the A96.2, A66.2, the A26, and then the AR800s. And these are, they want power. I think they're like max 340 watts. They peak at 8 ohms, they drop as low as 4 ohms, sometimes 3 ohms. So they actually ask a lot of power out of my Monolith amplifier at certain times. And this bad boy is like, is that all? Is that all you have to offer? It's really taken the task of being a very formidable machine in my system, and it's done it well. So honestly, I'm absolutely happy with the performance out of this thing. I've never had not one single issue, knock on some wood here, just knock on everything. I've never had any issues with this at all. And like I said, it's been a game changer for my home theater. I used to have an Kpaceguy Kpaceguy A300, which was a 2-channel amplifier from Kpaceguy that gave me 150 watts per channel. This one gives me just 50 watts more, but for some reason it wasn't really the extra 50 watts. I'm not hearing 50 extra watts, but the way this takes on home theater and music was just so different from the Kpaceguy. Not that Kpaceguy is terrible, and not that this is so much better, but its stance on how things should sound, it just felt so much more powerful. From the 7-channel amplifier here versus the Kpaceguy Kpaceguy A300. I do love Kpaceguy, I think they're awesome, but it seems like it was built to blast, built to be powered with the most craziest, biggest, beefiest speakers. It just seems like that's what they wanted you to pair this amplifier with. And so I've had speakers that aren't known for good sensitivity ratings, meaning they're not good with converting power into music. It goes into heat. So I've had speakers who are very powerful, very power hungry, and this has dwelled in the chaos. So if you're looking for an amplifier right now for your home theater or for your music listening room, I would highly suggest looking at the Monolith and comparing it to others and seeing how does it stack up. What can it do at 6 ohms, 4 ohms, 8 ohms, whatever you need. Take a look at this one. Don't sleep on this one. I know everybody likes the Kpaceguy name. They like the Arkham name, Anthem, sorry. They like the Parasound name. I like Monolith, man. I think they're really good. I think it's a good step into audiophile quality without really having to dish out a lot of money, which is key for a lot of people nowadays in home theater. They don't want to spend a lot of money on everything, but they want to get good quality out of it. I think this sits right where it should be. I bought mine at the time for $14.99 when it first came out, or close to when it first came out with the XLR balance inputs and outputs, and I mean, I haven't been anything less than happy since then. So guys, if you're looking for an amplifier, I'm not by any means sponsored by Monoprice, but hey, hit me up if you want to be if you want to be a sponsor of the channel. I'm not sponsored or any kind of, you know, affiliate of Monoprice Monolith or anything like that. I just think it's quality stuff, and you guys seen some of my videos. You guys know how good the system can sound at times, and this is the brains behind it all. This is what really powers everything. So guys, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this amplifier versus Kpaceguy. Which one would you go with, and why? Why would you go with Kpaceguy over Monoprice, or vice versa? Let me know that down below in the comment section. Let's get the conversation going. Also, hit that like button while you're here, and if you're not a subscriber, you are messing up. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned, because we have great videos coming up, and we have great videos in the past, so go back and check those out if you missed any. We will see you in the next video. Kpaceguy out. Peace.